Let's talk about A Quiet Place, Day 1. I gotta start doing my head bigger because TikTok keeps flagging me for unoriginal videos. I am a huge fan of the Quiet Place franchise. The first two movies are just phenomenal films, especially from a director's perspective. What John Krasinski was able to do with sound and editing and just the camera angles that he was able to achieve and just create such an intense atmosphere where I felt like me making a noise would cause the monsters to come and attack me. And all the characters on the screen, like their lives were actually going to be in danger if I uttered any type of sound. And then we have A Quiet Place Day 1, which I don't think is a bad movie. I think it is a very well made movie. I really enjoyed my time with it for the most part, but I do feel like it is a movie that lacks the spirit of what A Quiet Place is, especially with that tagline. A Quiet Place Day 1 feels more like an action, adventure, horror movie, as these two characters are going through the city and the first outbreak of these monsters first start. You see how they learn, especially as a society, what makes these monsters tick, what's their weaknesses, what their strengths are, and most importantly, to stay quiet, to stay alive. And here's the thing, they do for the most part stay quiet throughout this movie, especially when the outbreak happens and you follow Lupita Nyong'o's character through this world and as destruction is happening all around them. But I do feel like it is missing the subtlety and the nuance that A Quiet Place has, where it plays with sound and atmosphere and creates like a really intense moment. There are a lot of jump scares in this movie, and it's not bad. It's just more like actiony jump scares where it just things pop out of nowhere and danger just feels like it's coming. It's all around, but at the same time, I don't feel like the stakes are quite there. I really do give credit to Lupita Nyong'o here in holding this movie together. I feel like her expression and her acting and her capability of just emoting really carries this movie a long way. And her chemistry with Joseph Quinn is actually quite good. I actually really like him in this role here. They make an unlikely friendship and they try to survive this outbreak that is just starting. One thing I do like about this movie is that there are some really genuinely great moments. There's one particular scene in a pizza parlor later on in the movie that is just one of the best moments in a movie I've seen all year. And I do really like it and appreciate the nuance that it delivers on with just muted performances and just expression. And you do feel this sense of hope in a way. But again, these moments are there, but I wish it was filled with more moments like this and more moments where I was actually fearing more for these characters than I did. Again, it's not a bad movie. It's actually quite a pretty good, decent film. However, I feel like it's not a good Quiet Place film. I feel like if they just called it Day 1 or something else and made it into like this action horror type of movie where they were trying to survive danger by being, fast and quick and smart versus trying to be very quiet and discreet. Because there are moments in this movie that do defy the logics of being quiet. You're like, there's a bunch of people walking around and making noise, and the monsters don't seem to react. But then a quiet creak or a squeak here, and all of a sudden there's a mass outbreak. But again, I will reiterate this. It is a pretty solid movie. And if they do more Quiet Place movies like this, I will enjoy it. They're really fun popcorn films, but they're not the intense thriller that A Quiet Place Part 1 and Part 2 set themselves up to be.